Good afternoon, good evening. I am just thrilled to be here. Welcome to the Great Hall at the Cable Center here on the campus of the University of Denver. It is only fitting that we hold such a ceremony here at the Cable Center. The role that the cable industry has played in not only the evolution of the College of Business that I have the pleasure of serving as dean over, but of the university is really inextricably linked. So too is the university's connection to providing opportunities and transformational experiences for young people. And so the University of Denver, the Cable Center, our annual leadership awardees for the Boys and Girls Clubs, just make this an especially great pleasure. So I grew up in Detroit and had the opportunity to be introduced to Boys and Girls Clubs. And along with my high school education, I know I owe them a great deal, mostly for keeping me on a somewhat more productive path in my youth. And so I'm aware of the work that they do. But I'm especially pleased to be able to say a few words today for the awardees. These are young people who have school obligations, and many of them probably work and other things, and yet you have taken the time to go that extra step and to affirm your capacity in a world that demands more of you. So I have the privilege of being the dean of a business school and of working around the world and thinking constantly about economic value creation and individual capacity building, and trying to think strategically about what we can do here at Daniels and what we can do in our communities to ensure the success of students in a world that is now typified by globalization, hyper-competitiveness, connectivity, massive demographic shifts, extraordinary technological disruptions and innovations. It is a tough place. And so the question that I ask is, how do we ensure that our students can identify the on-ramp to the 21st century economy? So of course there is a core set of technical skills, and you all are all bright and you're in school, and I know the University of Denver is well represented here. But in addition to the technical skills that this generation of students seems to pick up with ease, there is what we refer to as the adaptive capacities. These are euphemistically referred to as soft skills, but really there's nothing soft about them. How we interact, how we narrate, how we discern, how we think critically, how we differentiate ourselves in a really crowded economic marketplace. And what's so pleasing to me is that these students are affirming this by stepping up and competing and leading and engaging. You are so well positioned for long-term success, and I really couldn't be more pleased for you. So congratulations, enjoy the evening, and thank you for allowing me to be just a small part of it. Best of luck.
Very nice, Dean. Wonderful. Wonderful to be here on campus. University of Denver holds a wonderful place and a soft place in my heart. I had the privilege and honor of being the executive director of the Spirituals Project, which is located on the campus here, and so this was my home for 6 years, or 5 years. And now I have been had the honor of being the executive director for Boys and Girls Clubs of Colorado for the last 6 years. So I just have been on a wonderful journey myself, and truly appreciate the opportunity for the last couple of days to get to know these young people here. Each year, we bring together what I call a little bit of the cream of the crop, the folks who have really done the hard work and lifted the heavy load to get here. It's a long process, and I am always impressed with their ability to have so much courage and to come with strength and honesty and transparency. And so these folks are not here on accident. They are here because they are part of the Boys and Girls Clubs, part of the Boys and Girls Clubs that really has surrounded them and lifted them up through their challenges. And you'll get a glimpse into some of those experiences this evening. So one of the things that I've learned in this last couple of days is there's this theme that happens. And the theme is really about the connections that they have with adults, connections that they have with staff members who are there to welcome them, to see them when they come in, to recognize when there are challenges, but also to challenge them to be greater and to lean into their opportunities for greatness, right? And hold them accountable to the opportunities that are presented to them. So with that, I want to recognize some of the Boys and Girls Club staff that are here. So if you are a member of a Boys and Girls Club staff, if you can stand and be recognized, I'd like to acknowledge you. Great. So it's wonderful because one of the things that's important with these young people is that we see in this group their dreams. They'll share with us some of their dreams. We see teachers. We have a couple of doctors. We have, I think, an aerospace engineer in the making, one or two, but some really amazing young people. So for months, these young people have been preparing for this, and they've been on this journey. And this journey has been about writing essays and submitting their college or high school transcripts. They've been practicing speeches, and we're going to hear some of those speeches this evening. If the winner for tonight, the person who is named the Colorado Youth of the Year and the Military Youth of the Year, will go on and they will become the representatives for this state, and they will go on to the regional competition that will happen in Texas, and that happens in the summer. And then the winner of the regional competition goes on to Washington, D.C. to become the Youth of the Year for the entire United States. And so with that comes a lot of responsibility, but I think these young people are up for that challenge. So tonight, I have the honor also of introducing one of our prior Youth of the Year. Last year, we had Danielle Wright, who is from the Boys and Girls Club of Buckley Air Force Base. And Danielle is currently a freshman here at the University of Denver. And so she's going to come up and talk a little bit about her journey. So Danielle.
I just want to make a correction real quick. I actually go to UCD, so that's down the street that way. I know there was a little bit of confusion about that. But I wanted to again say congratulations to all the Youth of the Year here for all of your hard work. And I also wanted to say thank you for all the parents and mentors that are here supporting their youth. It's really important. So it was only really a year now that I was sitting in your seats. I know I was shaking like crazy, like waiting to give my speech. I know like the competition's already over, but I was, still nervous. But I wasn't really thinking past the speech. And something I didn't realize looking back now is that I really had an advantage becoming a Youth of the Year. So at the Regional Youth of the Year, we had a lot of different fun and educational activities. And one of the activities in particular, we were split up into groups based on different social issues that we, all cared about. And we had time to talk to the other group members about different ideas and plans to kind of address the problems with those social issues. And, it was interesting to hear some of the plans that other Youth of the Years had already implemented in their own communities, successfully. And, looking back, I realized that that's not something that you have if you're not a Youth of the Year. That's something that information is only something you have access to as a Youth of the Year. And after that, we exchanged contact information. And again, as Youth of the Year, you only get to meet with those people, you know, those other successful youths. And you forever have those contacts and that support from those people, and you get the chance to work with those people moving forward. And I think through this year, a really big opportunity I've had after becoming the Youth of the Year is I became a Young Advocate. So Young Advocates is part of Young Invincibles, and Young Invincibles is a nonprofit organization that focuses on increasing access and support for young adults in secondary education, jobs, and healthcare. So the first semester of the program, we were doing a lot of training, and then the second semester, we had the opportunity to create groups with the other young advocates and focus on an issue that we want to advocate for. So right now, I'm in a group and we're working on making the Arrary campus smoke-free. So I think Youth of the Year has really led me to that opportunity. It's given me a lot of experience, and it's giving me the skills of leadership, of networking, of public speaking, that I think that the manager here in Colorado really recognized and was like, hey, I want this person in my program because they have these qualities. And I would like to say a little bit of advice for the Youth of the Year. Two things that I think I would really remember is that, you know, being a Youth of the Year, part of what you're doing is you're an advocate for your community. So it's really important to kind of go back into your communities and evaluate the community and say, what does my community need? So, you know, either hold an event and have a survey, talk to your community members, talk to your community leaders, and really figure out what your community needs, because it's very easy to get caught up in what you're really passionate about and kind of ignore what's actually really going on. And the second thing that I would say, you know, as I previously talked about before, really make relationships with the people that you're with right now and with the people that you're going to meet moving forward, because those are, again, the people that are going to support you, the people that you're going to be able to work with, and also the people that are going to give you more opportunities in the future. So, you know, work hard, keep moving forward. You know, even if you don't move past this stage, you know, I didn't move, I was here, didn't make it at regionals, but I still chose to move forward and find something that I want to do. And I think that's what Youth of the Year has really taught me is, you know, find something that you want to do and do it. Thank you.
One of the sessions we had today was the opportunity for young people to talk about different identities that they experience, some that they feel really deeply in their day-to-day lives, and some that they really don't think about, but that impact their peers and other people in their communities. It was just really beautiful to see them open up to young people that are really different from their peers that they interact with on a day-to-day basis.
Be strong in who you are and don't let other people change you, because you're who you are, your beliefs, your passions, your goals, they're unique to you and they're all valid. So don't change for anyone.
Don't ever let anyone put limitations on you. You can accomplish anything. Just a matter of the work you're willing to put in, how dedicated you want to be.
Do your best in everything you can and concentrate on what's important to you, because you can do anything you would like to do if you apply yourself.
It is going to be scary in life, and you kind of have to just push through that. And people like myself and Miss Kelly, they're all here for you to help you. But I think that if you jump right in and you find something that you're interested in doing, you will go far.
One thing that I didn't get to mention, maybe in part of like my speeches and my essays, is my passion for music. I play 3 instruments. I'm trying to sing, but that one's the hardest, you know.
These things that you're passionate about, that passion, you can make a change with that. So whatever you're passionate about, use that, because it's your passion. So follow that and you can make a huge change. It doesn't matter what it is.
I met Bonnie as soon as like the Boys and Girls Club in Steamboat Springs opened. And she had high expectations for me that I've always tried to achieve.
So the program that I developed is actually called Double Trouble, and we get the name from encouraging kids to read with us vigorously for 1 hour. In exchange for that, we give the kids an hour of physical activity such as basketball or dodgeball or football just to keep them motivated. And one important thing is that every kid who participates in the program improved their literacy level by at least 1 grade level.
My dad's been on deployment twice, and I have 2 younger siblings, so I'd have to help my mom, take care of them, look after them. You also appreciate family more because there's always a possibility that, dad might not come back, mom might not come back, depending on who the parent is.
You have to overcome those hardships and be resilient and find the balance of finding new friends, focusing on academics, playing sports, having extracurricular activities. Those all tie in, and it's hard to do, but it's honestly doable.
Staff members are definitely the biggest cheerleaders throughout the club. They have helped me broaden my range of opportunities and absolutely define who I am. They pushed me to do the absolute most, such as Youth of the Year. I was really shy and timid going into this competition, and now I wouldn't want it any other way.
I want to become a teacher, just seeing the spark in their eyes because I think they have a lot to bring to this world. And I've been told my whole life that I'm great with working with kids, and I'm pretty much destined to be a teacher, which I'm okay with because sharing my knowledge and helping others is truly what I'm passionate about.
One of the biggest things I want to do with my Youth of the Year title would be to empower the youth around me, specifically girls. Because I've been empowered when I was younger by mentors in Salida, and I think that it's really important for girls to have somebody to look up to, and I want to be that person for them.
I want people to know that I'm smart and that I have goals that I really want to achieve.
I wanted to be a leader to the boys and girls of my club and show them the right way. What I like most about working with that group of kids is that I give them knowledge that I have. Sometimes they're just really happy to have someone helping them.
I went through the Little Buddy program through my Boys and Girls Club, and my little buddy was named Sebastian, and I loved him to death. It was especially because I did it for a couple of years, and I just got to see him grow and develop from when he was in kindergarten, and I only got to see him until he was in 4th grade. I would tell Sebastian to always pursue his dreams and to never give up, to strive for excellence even when the going gets tough and you don't think you can, and to never give up.
So one of the things that I've heard very strongly is that these young people are very conscious of the importance of relationships in their lives. The relationships, they talk about the relationships with staff, they talk about relationships with their peers, and how it's helped shape and inform who they are today. It's helped them find their voice. And what we try and do with this experience is give them some of the tools that they need to amplify that voice, to give them confidence in believing who they are. I'm really excited with this young group today, and I have hope for the future. Well, that's a little peek at these young people, and you're going to get to see a little bit more of them here in just a minute. They will give their speeches. So just to kind of set the stage, the notion of this competition, this Youth of the Year competition, it's been around since 1947. It's a competition that really focuses on what is the element about Boys and Girls Clubs that these young folks represent the best. They represent character development, strong character. They're leaders in their community, and they're thriving and succeeding in school. And so that's the purpose of this. They will be representatives for Boys and Girls Clubs and young people in their communities, and they will represent the state, and they will go on to the national competition. So it's very exciting. So they've done all the hard work. This speech tonight is really a celebration. They come up here, they're going to come up here, they're going to open up their hearts, they're going to tell you stories about themselves, about their journey. They're going to do it with no notes. I can't even do this with notes. They're going to do it without notes. They're going to do it in 3 minutes. And I want you to welcome them, and with that, we'll have the first group come up and stand up there. So kicking it off for us tonight is Jesse Rascon. Jesse is from Boys and Girls Clubs in Weld County, and he's from Greeley.
It's only a dream until you go do it. While others wait, winners create their fate. Attempting this may feel uncomfortable, but only because it is uncommon to follow your dreams, or so you think. My name is Jesse Rascon. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a senior at Greeley Central High School. My life experience up to this point in my life has been a very positive and blessed one. I come from the American dream, where the melting pot concept applies to my life. My mother is a Caucasian woman who comes from Iowa, and on the other side of the spectrum is my father, who comes from Chihuahua, Mexico. Was it a challenge for my parents and I to be a mixed family? Was it challenging trying to fit in with white kids and Mexican kids? Absolutely. One of my favorite quotes is from Mussolini, where her father says something along the lines of, "You have to be more Mexican than the Mexicans. You have to be more American than Americans." It's exhausting. But the great thing about my family is that they didn't choose to focus on the negative. Instead, they decided to focus all their attention on working hard and teaching their son great values, like hard work, dedication, family, and perseverance. And that is what I want people to understand, that the melting pot concept isn't dead, it's very much alive. I took these values and mindset with me when I started Tank Club. When I first started Tank Club, I was recruited by my friend Arnulfo, who I played basketball with. The first staff I met was Pedro. He was pretty intimidating, but he challenged me and told me he wanted me to play in the basketball team at club. He opened the gym for me on a daily basis, and I spent hours shooting and getting better because him and the staff named Gavin told me I can talk all I want about being good, but if I don't put in the work, that's all it is, just talking. As the next years at club went by, I started getting involved in programs like Keystone. I am now the vice president. I now see why Gavin and Pedro are so smart. Those two tricked me. The whole basketball thing, it was just a facade. It's okay though. Because of club, it's helped me focus on my vision for our youth. My vision is to educate our generation about the melting pot concept in our country. With all the struggle we're facing as a country, I want people to know that we as a country are not hopeless. That America is not a place or a land, but a people. What makes this country so great is that we're able to share all our different ideals and cultures with each other. I'm Jesse Rascon, and I'm here to tell you our generation isn't done fighting. Our country may be in disarray, but we can still unite as one. I mean, hey, even the little kids at club coexist with each other. Why not model after them in society? Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Next up is Adrian Rea, and Adrian is from Boys and Girls Clubs of San Luis Valley in Alamosa.
They say our dreams tell us about who we are at the core and who we might be if we live up to our potential. Good evening. My name is Adrian Raya, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about my hopes and dreams for the youth in the world today. But first, I would like to thank God for allowing me to be here and for this honor of sharing my vision with you all. The Boys and Girls Club of the San Luis Valley has given me a glimpse of the diversities that are within our community. The diversities between BGC and school life. It's like stepping into different worlds, each world being different from each other. In one, a place where you're discouraged, unwanted, or even bullied. A place where peer pressure exists and we can easily fall into cliques. In the other, a place to go when in need. A place to be yourself without the judgment of others. A place where we are free to express our ideas and creativity. The BGC is this world, while the other, not so much. I may not be able to change the whole world, but I can change the world I live in. The words of a wise person. Claire. Dreams come at a price. You must be determined to achieve and work hard for it. For any dream, big or small, there will be the obstacles you face, the doubters you meet, mistakes you make, all trying to stop you from reaching and achieving your dream. These small details
are the prices you pay for the dreams you accomplish. In the end, it'll all be worth it. So I challenge you this. Change the world you live in. Dream. Wake up. Live. Make the most of your life. Thank you.
Great. Next up is Destiny Meekomer, and Destiny is from Buckley Air Force Base Youth Center.
What do you see when you look in a mirror? Beyond just our reflections, we often see the negativities that life and society gave us. Let me tell you what I saw in the mirror 3 years ago. I saw a girl who was an outcast, a nobody, who struggled with depression, anxiety, and who lacked confidence in her own body. I'd been broken down by bullies, the hardships of being a military child, and simply by feeling like I didn't have a place or a purpose. It was like I was alive, but I wasn't living. But what I didn't realize was a fighter lurking underneath all these negativities. That is, until I walked through the doors of the Boys and Girls Club of Buckley Air Force Base. My first experience with this club was a simple camping trip to the mountains with a bunch of strangers. But unbeknownst to me, this would open a door full of possibilities. What started out as just a place to do my homework led to me finding friends, adventures, and even a leadership role in our Keystone Club. My peers became my first true friends, and the staff were my motivators. I found an ally, Ms. Autumn, who taught me to not only love myself, but to help shatter the mirror that I'd confined myself to for so long. It seemed like I'd finally found a place and a purpose. I found a place where the staff and the youth showed me my true potential that I never even knew that I had. I excelled in Keystone, first becoming treasurer and then vice president, and I helped lead several community service projects, and thus a purpose. Through these projects, I found in myself a leader, and I realized my passion for fighting for equality and equity in my community. I found in myself a social justice warrior. While often taken as just a mantra, Gandhi's quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," is rarely followed through. To me, change is constantly talked about and ideas are obviously floated around, you can see on the news, but nothing seems to be done to make these changes. In my eyes, change needs motion, and we as youth need to push the boundaries that great leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. pushed before us. For change to be achieved and equality to be succeeded, we must stop shying away from our differences, but rather learn to celebrate and accept them. My club gave me the confidence to not only stand up here as an advocate, but to be passionate and resilient and ambitious. So let me tell you what I see when I look in the mirror today. I see a woman who is passionate and empathetic and resilient. I see a leader, an ally, and a warrior. I see myself, Destiny Meekomer, a Navy brat as Youth of the Year, someone who is full of life, has learned to overcome all these difficulties and differences, and hopes to help others do the same. I see myself as the change. Thank you.
So good. Okay, next up in this group is Addison Bright, and Addison is from the Boys and Girls Club of Chaffee County in Salida.
Just keep swimming. You'll figure it out. That's what my swim coach, Wendy, likes to tell me. Life will always present challenges, but you've got to push through them. Keep swimming. I've never been a shy kid. I like jumping right in. So naturally, when I was 6, I followed my older sister Ainsley to the Boys and Girls Club. I remember how much I loved the staff, especially Miss Jenny. She welcomed me in. I remember thinking, I got this. I feel good here. Now I'm the one welcoming kids in, helping them.
and that feels even better. One of the kids I help at the club is Ashley. She has some real challenges, and she's shy. She needs a lot of help. But at first, she didn't want to talk to me. Actually, she barely says a word to anyone. The first day I worked with her, I just watched her climb on the play structure outside and encouraged her. But the next day, she approached me. She asked me to help her with her reading. I'll never forget the book she picked, The Fuzzy Duckling, a classic. We sat with our backs turned to the other kids so she would not be embarrassed by her struggles. When she finished, she gave me a big smile, her first. I was smiling too. My mom and dad have always been there for me, and they're teachers at my school, so really, they're always there. Imagine this. Your parents have direct access to the school portal, your attendance, if you're tardy, every report. They would know I was in trouble sometimes before I knew I was in trouble. Sometimes kids think, oh, Addie, she gets all A's because her parents give her all A's. I don't worry about what they think anymore. I know who I am. I put the work in, and it pays off. I want to thank my mom and dad. They've always challenged me because they care. I'm lucky. I'm independent, but there are so many people who have helped me along the way. In kindergarten, I started riding my bike to school, and in some ways, I never looked back. We all grow up, and people like my parents, the club staff, and my coaches, they all showed me the value of hard work. I think my hard work gives me more time to dream big. My dream now is to attend one of the service academies, hopefully the Naval or Air Force Academy. I want to major in aerospace engineering wherever I go. People always say, oh, Addie, you want to fly. No, I want to build. Yes, I want to build things that fly. If we think about the present and be present, things will work out. I'll never forget a swim meet from last year. I was so nervous. It was a big meet, and at first I was thinking about all the things that could go wrong. But once I was in the water, I just thought, keep swimming. I could hear Coach Wendy yelling, and when I hit the wall, I thought I was in last place. But then I saw the scoreboard with my name and a number 1 next to it. I'd cut 5 seconds. It was my best time ever, state cut. I don't like to back down from challenges. I want to be the girl who isn't afraid of science and engineering. I want other girls to follow me. I'm not afraid, so you shouldn't be either. Just keep swimming. Thank you.
Excellent. And that's just the first set, okay? Told you. Okay, so next up, I'm going to invite up a wonderful woman who has just been such a wonderful gift in my life. She sits on our board of directors for Boys and Girls Clubs of Colorado. She is a vice president at Vector Bank. Miss Christina Heinzman is also a judge this week. So please come up. Tell us a little bit about what's
Good evening. Thank you, Connie, for letting me tell a story. And I would applaud all of the great youth who are here tonight. I have notes, and I think there's no way. I have years on you, and I could do what you've done today. So I'm not going to lie, this is tougher than it looks, for sure. I started my journey with Boys and Girls Club about 18 months ago. I met Connie through some connections and have an aspiration certainly to support children, STEM education, and it just worked out really, really well. But I was certainly the new kid in the room, the new kid in the club. I had never been in a Boys and Girls Club. I had never met somebody who had been in a club. So I was certainly one of those that was uneducated on the value that this organization fosters for these kids. And you should be incredibly proud for those parents and the directors and the staff. This is an amazing group of people. So year after year, the times that I've been here, I couldn't be more proud of all of them. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity. Facebook reminded me this morning that it was a year ago today that we did this event. And I remember sitting there in such awe. I cried, I was humbled, I was sad, I was happy, I was full of emotions. And it wouldn't be without this organization that it would have been afforded such exposure. So to some great people. A year later, there were 10 other judges who spent the time today to evaluate these kids, to support them, to mentor them, to believe in them, and certainly be inspired by them. So I'd like to take the time to recognize those judges. Alexis Harrigan from the Officer of Governor, Katrina Sevier from Western Union, Fiona Little from Colorado Community College System, Kelly Cofford from Colorado Succeeds, Armando Martin from XL Edge, Jared Anthony from Colorado Department of Education, David Gerbus from Delta Dental, Aaron Nelson from Toyota, and Ronnie Lennis from the City Ballet of San Diego. So if I could extend some gratitude for them, that would be awesome. So over the last year, I've had the great fortune, as I said, I was a newbie to Boys and Girls Club, and I got to take some tours over the last year, and they have left me with such impressions of the difference that we make to these young individuals. And while we have youth here today, I will never forget the little boy who pulled on my hand and said, "Come see what I coded, come see what I coded." And he was 8 years old. I can't even figure out my phone. But he was so excited and so energetic, and the support staff that afford these kids the confidence to do what they did today starts when they're in kindergarten. So I have to say, the tours have been wonderful. But this event tonight is intended to showcase all the hard work that these kids have put in. And while we recognize the youth, I think it's really important that we spend some time to recognize Connie and Becca. This event is intended to showcase the kids, but it takes a lot to pull it off. So if we could take a couple minutes and just say thanks to Becca and Connie for making this possible, that would be wonderful. They work tirelessly to pull this off, and we do this not as a fundraiser, but certainly an opportunity to showcase the kids. And it wouldn't be without the corporate sponsors that this would be possible. So I get to also thank the companies who've made this possible. Vector Bank Colorado, Delta Dental, PDC Energy, the University of Denver, the Tribune, and Excel Energy. These companies have ensured that this event happens, and their donations have enabled opportunities for leadership workshops, as well as helping these individuals grow as future citizens and leaders of our community. So thank you very, very much. And lastly, the men behind the camera and the printed programs that you have. I think the men behind the camera have maybe had 3 hours of sleep. So thank you for staying up till 12:30 last night to work on the videos. These two companies have made a huge difference as well. So that's Black Diamond Media Productions, and I wrote it down, but I didn't print page 4, so Pantera. Thank you. Anything else you need to say?
Okay, so now we're on for another group. Group 2, ready? Come on up. Group of boys. So I will tell you that we have 6 and 6, 6 boys, 6 girls. We started out where they were all separated, one side, guys, girls, and they definitely have done a little more blending, so we're appreciative of that. So our first one up on this group is Mr. Malachi Haynes. Malachi is from Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Denver, the Betcher Club in Aurora.
A little nervous up here. Get some sign. All right. Trying to fit the impact the Boys and Girls Club has had on my life for the last 12 years into a 3-minute speech is harder than telling children Santa Claus isn't real, or teaching my mother how to set up her new iPhone. All joking aside, the club is more than just my second home. It's my purpose. I didn't recognize this until recently, but I knew I'd found my purpose when I created a program for club members to improve their reading and their comprehension skills. I had noticed that some of the kids in my club were consistently reading 2 to 3 levels below the current grade level. Even more troubling to me was their lack of motivation around reading. A close friend and I began tutoring and mentoring 5 kids on a weekly basis, promising them an hour of physical activity in return for an hour of reading and studying. Every member who participated in the program improved their literacy level, and they began to look to us for guidance beyond reading. Becoming a role model to those kids, watching them transform from unmotivated to being excited about reading, seeing them flourish, and recognizing the potential in other club members filled me with a sense of accomplishment and inspired my vision for America's youth. My vision is for young people to seek out positive role models who can help them develop the skills to become the leaders of future generations. Seeking this kind of guidance in my own life, from my family, older friends, and club staff, helped me build self-confidence and shape my personal brand. Hard work is at the heart of my brand and everything I do. I'm currently enrolled in the International Baccalaureate program at my high school, taking college-level courses and maintaining a 3.76 GPA. In the fall, I plan to attend the University of Michigan and pursue a degree in kinesiology. I'm told this major might be as challenging as teaching my mom how to use an iPhone, but it'll be worth it when I graduate and become a sports medicine physician. Leadership and perseverance are 2 other important components of my personal brand. Being involved in Keystone, a teen leadership club, working as a junior staff and a peer leader, and coaching various athletic teams have enhanced my leadership abilities and strengthened my determination to succeed. Buddha once said, "Your purpose in life is to find your purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it." By striving every day to live out the principles of my brand, at the club and beyond, I became a role model to younger kids and discovered my purpose. The Boys and Girls Club is to me what basketball is to Michael Jordan. It's what swimming is to Michael Phelps. It's what running is to Usain Bolt and what peace was to Mahatma Gandhi. Being a leader and a role model in my community is my purpose, and it's what I'll be doing for the rest of my life, giving my whole heart and soul to the Boys and Girls Club. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Mr. Jacob Kinsey, and Jacob is from the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs.
Us military brats like to say our home is nowhere, but our friends are everywhere. And this quote is very significant to me because we move very often and we'll have friends everywhere, but we don't consider any place our home since we move so often. And every time that we move, it gets a little bit easier every time. Nowadays, kids that only go to one high school think it's hard to make friends, which it is, don't get me wrong, but imagine going to 3 different high schools and in freshman year making new friends and then moving, sophomore year making new friends and then moving again, and then junior year do it all over again. It is really hard. However, as a military dependent, I have learned to become resilient and overcome these challenges and hardships that I face throughout life. And just when I thought at my 3rd high school at Air Academy, just when I thought that I had no friends and I was going to fit in anywhere, a light shined in and a hand reached out, and that hand was the United States Air Force Academy Youth Center. And the Youth Center gave me a place to stay after school, and not only that, but they helped introduce me to new friends at my new high school. And when I met my new friends, we came up with the idea of having the first ever Keystone Club at the Youth Software Youth Center. And I had to run against my friend JJ for the Keystone president. However, I had to put friendship aside and business first. And I luckily was awarded the Keystone president, and it's crazy to say this because no one else in the world could say this but me. I'm the first ever Keystone president at the Youth Software Youth Center. Oh, sorry. Sorry. And learning to overcome those challenges, moving into high schools is hard. And as military dependents, we have to learn to overcome the negatives, because there's a few negatives as being a military dependent as moving, but we have to learn to overcome them, and the positive heavily outweigh the negatives. And yes, they heavily outweigh the negatives. And I'll leave you all with an inspiring quote by Nelson Mandela. He said, "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but rising every time we fall." Thank you.
Okay, next up is Brent Knight, and Brent is from Boys and Girls Club of the Pikes Peak region.
What does it mean when someone tells me that I talk like I'm white? How can a person who is white be more black than I am? What do you do when someone calls you an Oreo? Black on the outside and white on the inside. These are a few comments that I hear from my peers and friends. Being black does not define how I act or speak, and does not give anyone the right to assume who I am or am not. I am a second-generation club kid. My dad was a member growing up and said he wouldn't be the man he is today without the club. A contributing citizen, and in turn, an amazing dad. He made sure that I was a member, and for the past 10 years, the club's been my safe place and second home. The club staff have played an essential role in my upbringing. Miss Drace taught me about the work before play mentality. Miss Kelly about being a leader and giving back to my community. And Mr. Zach about the importance of being a team player. Last year, I didn't win the local Youth of the Year competition because I was told that I was too polished. I am proud of who I'm becoming because I'm a direct result of what it means to be Boys and Girls Club made. From the beginning, I made the right decisions. And that doesn't make me any less deserving of this opportunity. With the support of my club and family, my story is one of success. I could have been on the streets, succumbed to peer pressure, or used drugs. But instead, I'm excelling in school with the 4.33 GPA. I'm a member of National Honor Society, Keystone Secretary, I have earned awards in soccer and basketball, and I live a drug and alcohol-free life. As National Youth of the Year, I will become BGC's greatest advocate. More importantly, I will share my vision for America's youth to unite as one, regardless of our differences. For youth to not judge others based on race, personal background, or socioeconomic status, but instead by their personality and the intentions of their heart. To paraphrase the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., judge by the content of their character. We all represent something. Ask yourself, what do you represent? I can be described in many ways. One, being the energized bunny who never quits and gives up, or a self-sacrificing person who puts his family and friends above himself. Truthfully, I am all of these things. However, I am always changing and evolving, and my personality might shift a bit as I grow, but I will always be the best possible me. The Boys and Girls Club has been there to support and guide me in becoming the man I am today. So, when I am told that I am too polished, I say thank you to my Boys and Girls Club and hold my head high. I am a strong leader, a person who serves and helps his community, and one who is pursuing his destiny of becoming an aerospace engineer. I know that with the help of my Boys and Girls Club, nothing can stop me. Thank you.
Okay, and last in this group is Mr. Dominic Sandoval, and Dominic is from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Larimer County in Loveland.
The Boys and Girls Club gave the opportunity for an 8-year-old boy and his little sister to be a part of something truly extraordinary. Even though I had busy parents, I still had my family at the Boys and Girls Club to support me, and I can say with no doubt that it changed my life for the better. My name is Dominic Alexander Sandoval, and I've been a member of my club, the Loveland Polium Unit, for 10 years. My role models for discipline and hard work are my parents. My mom needed to sleep all day because of her extensive night shifts, and Dad's double shifts and construction jobs made it so my little sister and I needed a place to go to after school. The club taught me how to eat healthy and how to maintain a healthy lifestyle by doing plenty of exercise. And in between all the fun was work and dedication to school, which my parents wanted me to do, unfortunately. But fortunately for me, there are multiple rooms dedicated to educational programs at the club, where staff can help you with everything from simple division to college applications. This was especially impactful for me, because English is my second language. But with my tenacity, I hold a 3.7 GPA. I'm part of the National Honor Society, AP classes, and I will graduate with an honors diploma and a seal of biliteracy. The club's also brought me to one of my major passions outside of school, my community. With the club, I've been able to participate in things like National Honor Society, go to city council meetings, and even club board meetings. Through this, I've realized that to make a greater impact on my community, I would like to major in business and political science so that I can be a part of my local government. I hope to use this Youth of the Year opportunity as a platform to achieve my vision for America's youth. Before goals are strived for, before achievements are met, before any dream is made, a healthy environment needs to be provided to every boy and girl in the nation. According to the USDA, 6.5 million children were food insecure in 2016. My vision for America's youth is one where all children and their families will not have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, by helping to connect food banks with schools, boys and girls clubs, and other community sites. In order for these children and their families to overcome their circumstances, it is necessary that these same communities provide programs that support education, healthy lifestyle, as well as music and arts-based activities. These tasks are not easy, but they are possible, with and only by the caring people in every community and their respective officials. And as I approach the end of my time as a member of the Boys and Girls Club, I would like to thank the club for providing a place with positive people and influences, but more importantly, a place where an 8-year-old boy could grow into an intelligent, community-minded individual with big goals for the future. My name is Dominic Alexander Sandoval, member number 1693. Thank you.
That's group 2. We have one more left. But before the third group comes up, we have the pleasure of having one of our most famous alumni on campus here, Mr. Cameron Simmons. It's your turn, yes. Yes. He needs no introduction. He needs no introduction. Come on up, Sam.
Good evening. Perfect. My name is Cameron Simmons. I'm the 2012 Colorado State Youth of the Year. And I've been given the privilege to just come and talk a little bit about my club staff and the importance of our club staff. The great American philosopher, Michael Jackson, he said, "We are the world. We are the people. We are the children," is what he said. "We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start living and let's start giving." I had to think about that line that said, "We are the children." And I had to understand and realize that as we get older, and as I've gotten older, I still am the child because I'm constantly giving back to my community. And I have to think about the people who gave to me, my club staff, the ones who taught me how to carve a turkey. Yeah, that happened. The ones who told me how to dress professionally and not like it was Sunday morning at the church. The ones who showed me what it means to stand with my head held high, with something to say, with the message for the world, and who empowered me to have a vision for America's youth. The club staff, if you don't know, pour into your kids day in and day out. They give them a space to be uniquely who they are. They give them a space to grow, develop, learn, and just embrace the child within themselves. So yes, our club staff are still the children because they're giving back to your children day in and day out. So all my club staff that are here tonight, can you please stand? Club staff, can you please stand? Club staff, please stand. No, please keep standing, keep standing, keep standing. Club staff, keep standing. I need you to make this declaration because I think it's very important. Say this out loud. I am somebody, and I still have work to do. All right, parents, please stand. Parents, if you're in the building, club staff, continue to stand, please. Parents, please stand. Parents, say, I am somebody, and I still have work to do. All right, anybody else in the room, please stand. Everybody else in the room, please stand. Please stand up top. Please stand. I am somebody, and I still have work to do. Thank you, club staff, and thank you, Boys and Girls Club, for this opportunity.
That's what you call a club kid right there. He's a club kid. Am I on? I'm on. Well, we have our last group. That you guys want to come up? Yeah, you ladies. Group of 4 ladies. Yeah. Okay, kicking off the last group is Danielle Morris. And Danielle is from Boys and Girls Clubs of Northwest Colorado, and she lives in Steamboat Springs.
The Steamboat Springs Boys and Girls Club has taught me many things. Above all, my club has taught me to be brave. Before I went to the BGC, I was a mousy and timid girl who didn't know how to interact with others or socialize. As a kid, I spent the majority of my time at home by myself. In the summer of 2009, my prayers were answered with the opening of the BGC. I became a member and started attending almost every day that I could. I found joy in my club because I was able to do so many fun activities. I also began making friends. My 3 favorite programs were Miss Manners, Jazzy Jumpers, and Tech Time. With those programs and the people in my club, I was able to build up my confidence and social skills, but I still struggled to stand up for myself. After a year I joined the club, there was a boy who bothered me a lot. He would tease me and call me names, and this went on what seemed like forever, and I didn't tell him or tell the BGC staff. Then one day, I had enough of his constant bullying and decided to do something about it. I asked him, "Why are you so mean to me?" And he responded with, "Because I'm allergic to black people." This was my breaking point. I held myself together as best as a 9-year-old could and finally told a BGC staff. He got in trouble, but continued to bother me, and I continued to tell on him. As I look back now, this part of my life reminds me of the quote by the Buddha that says holding on to anger is like drinking poison, yet expecting the other person to die. I was unfortunately drinking that poison, expecting that the other kid would be as miserable as I felt. Years went by and I didn't see the bully anymore. Then one day I saw him again and all the memories came flooding back. This time though, I wasn't afraid. My club taught me to confront my problems, so I went up to him and said, "Hi." To my surprise, he apologized for what he said, and I couldn't help but to apologize and admit that I had my faults as well. I felt a weight lift from my heart and we were able to form a friendship. My club has helped me grow into a straightforward, thoughtful, persistent, kind, caring young woman. To this day, I teach younger members that staying angry at someone does not solve their problems. I encourage them to talk to the peers that they may not get along with. It makes me proud when the kids come up to me asking for ways to solve their problems. My brand and vision for the youth of America is to be brave. When kids are brave, they problem solve, they think before they ask for help when they need it, and they build up their confidence. My club has inspired me to go to college and pursue a career in youth psychology. I want others to feel brave and proud of themselves when they learn to confront their problems like I did. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Miss Emma Braggins, and Emma is from the Boys and Girls Clubs of the High Rockies in South Park.
Follow your passion. It will lead to your purpose. This quote from Oprah Winfrey caught my attention because it has summed up what the Boys and Girls Club has done for me and how it has helped me find my passions. All because of the club, I have realized that I am passionate for people. Whether it be helping others or just being around them, I love sharing my knowledge and experiences. The Boys and Girls Club has always been a part of my life ever since I was young. It started out as just a place for me to go while my parents went to work, but they didn't realize what a blast I had. From that point on, it grew into something much more. My experiences have taught me so much about myself and others. My favorite program from the club was high altitude hiking. Mr. Lubin, a teacher from our school, volunteered to take the teens on hikes up the surrounding 14ers. I was just 12 when I started this program, and as one can imagine, hiking up these steep and rocky slopes at these elevations was no easy task. But Mr. Lubin taught me to overcome my challenges and face my fears. That summer, I learned what it really meant to succeed, whether it be summiting a 14er or just being able to solve any problem that life throws at me. Helping others has always been a passion of mine, and I wanted to take my hiking knowledge and experiences and be able to pay it forward. I'm currently a junior staff at the club, and one of my roles as staff was to accompany some of the younger teens on backpacking trips of their own. I wanted to take my knowledge. On the journey, we encountered some of our own ups and downs, but I got to take some of the words of wisdom that Mr. Lubin gave to me and pay it forward onto those kids. I hope that my impact on them impacted their lives like he impacted mine. Working at the club, I've discovered who I am as a human being. I like to look at life in a more glass half full kind of way, not take anything in life for granted. Working with the kids, I've realized that everyone is different and it is easier to look at people in a more positive manner. Don't judge a book by its cover. Every soul has good in them, and we need to find that quality as a society and help them show their true colors. I hope that my impact on the kids, not just at the club, but across the nation, will help them find their true colors. Thank you.
Excellent. Next up is Miss Taylor Morris, and Taylor is from Boys and Girls Clubs of La Plata County in Durango.
Be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. Throughout my life, I've always found it as important to stand firm in who I am and my beliefs and to allow my passions to fuel the pursuit of my goals. The Boys and Girls Club is the place I was first exposed to all of my passions. The club was the first place that I ever played a sport, starting with basketball and t-ball at just 5 years old. This led me to become a 3-sport varsity athlete all 4 years of high school. The club was also a place I was able to thrive in my love for learning, leading me to win my very first spelling bee at the club. The reaction that my peers had to my win showed me that it was okay to be smart, and that it was cool even. This is something that has pushed me through school and has helped me to pursue my love of learning new things. As I grew older, the club became a place where I could really explore who I wanted to be. It was a place where I never felt judged, and a place where staff members made me feel like I could really be myself, which has made me the person that I am today. Later on, I became more involved in the club as a leader, as someone staff could turn to. The way that staff trusted me made me feel like I could do anything, like I was needed, and that was so important in a time where I didn't always feel accepted. Later, I became a leader in training and volunteer at my club. This opportunity made me realize my next passion, working with kids. Those kids made me feel so loved, so important, and all I wanted was to do the same for them. This experience led me to foster my caring personality, leading me to look for more opportunities to help my small community. For example, I've spent time integrating my love for sports and service as a Special Olympics basketball coach and a Dream League softball coach. I've also integrated my love for reading by serving as a reading partner's tutor and bringing up a child's reading level 92% in 1 year. Each of these experiences has further allowed me to become more involved in my community and to further love helping others, specifically kids. It hasn't always been easy growing up in a small rural town where there are little opportunities, but thankfully the club was there to help me find opportunities outside of my small town. At a young age, I developed a passion for science, but unfortunately there were no opportunities in my small town to help me find them. Thankfully, my club was there to help me find opportunities outside of my small community. They helped me to get into the Colorado Rural Health Scholars Program, a program centered around helping kids from rural areas work towards their goal of working in healthcare. The club also helped me to get into the Frontiers of Science Institute, a program centered around the STEM field where I was able to do research at the University of Northern Colorado. Thanks to this institute, I am now published in my research of the optimization of the immunohistochemistry of an estrogen receptor positive cell line. The club also connected me with Rise Above Colorado, a statewide anti-drug campaign, and I became a member of the Rise Above Colorado Teen Advisory Council. Through this council, I led anti-drug campaigns in my high school and fought marijuana use within my town. It is thanks to the Boys and Girls Club of La Plata County that I am now on a path towards a great future. The club staff and my club friends have always been there, cheering me on, building up my confidence, and ultimately guiding me as I have become fearless in the pursuit of what sets my soul on fire. Thank you.
There'll be a test afterwards to see if you can repeat what she's published in. Okay, our last finalist is Ms. Brianna Martinez, and she's from Boys and Girls Clubs of Pueblo County in Pueblo.
One of my favorite authors once said, "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better." It's not. Throughout my life, I developed many characteristics which makes me hold myself to such a strong standard. What I want to be known for is having strong family values, strong cultural beliefs, being an optimist about my future, and most importantly, being a passionate and selfless young woman. When I was younger, I was always much smaller than my peers. I was shy. I stood by myself. As I grew older, I didn't make friends. However, I experienced bullying because I had a fear of confrontation and had a fear of retaliation. So I learned how to hide my pain so others wouldn't know I was hurting. But that all changed when I entered the vibrant blue doors of the Boys and Girls Club of Pueblo County 12 years ago. The club was my safe place where I interacted with the world's most welcoming individuals, loving and compassionate members, and was given many opportunities where I could freely express myself. With being a member for 12 years, I was introduced to such a broad range of programs which helped me generate my life skills. The club was the first place that taught me how to look at the bigger picture, how to view life for the first time, and also assisted me through my world's most challenging struggle of my life, middle school. I remember graduating 5th grade and being so scared to move on to middle school. But that summer, the club introduced a dropout prevention program through a sports team for middle school girls aged like me. And I thought this was my chance to show that the shy, timid, uncoordinated girl can be the athlete that I once aspired to be. There were 2 volleyball teams. I knew the competitive team was where I wanted to be. Within the years of being in the competitive team, I've learned so much from my teammates. I learned how to build my strength both mentally and physically. The last game of my 8th grade year, we lost in the championship. However, I was surprised to hear that the coaches of the league had voted for me to be the best defensive player of the league. Who would have known that the small, shy, timid, who never played sports, uncoordinated girl who would win the biggest award of the night? I felt so empowered. I knew in order to keep my success and my experience going, I needed to be the voice for the girls, so I decided to come back and be a coach for the new recruits. My journey continued on as a freshman. I decided to try out for the high school cheer team. As of now, I've cheered varsity for 4 years, and I am now a captain. If it wasn't for my newfound strength, I don't think I would have tried out for the squad. The constant pressure, peer pressure, feels like it would never go away. Having to feel like you'll never fit in is hard. But I plan to use my Youth of the Year involvement to be the voice for kids like me. During my years of volleyball, our team had been introduced to, sadly, drug and alcohol abuse, domestic violence, death of parents, evictions, and suicide. Like Denzel Washington once said, it's not about who you are or what you even have accomplished. It's about who you help grow and who you help build. Thank you.
Well, there you go. What an amazing group of young people. Yes, yes. So here is this group of young people from all around the state. You know, in Colorado, we have more than 60 sites around the entire state. And while these young people come from different communities, they come from rural communities, they come from metro areas and suburban areas, it's amazing to see the connections that they have, the thread of similarity, one of which is their connections with adults, with caring adults, whether it's a club staff or family members, but it's that community, that network that supports them and again, challenges them to be the best versions of themselves. And, you know, I think about when I was a teenager, and my mom's here, so I'm sorry I wasn't the best kid, right? But I certainly didn't hold up to the standard that these young people have. But how thoughtful they are about their community, how committed they are to making a difference at this young age, and the way that they believe in themselves. They see themselves as being the change, and they are, and they are. So I think it's up to us to recognize and support them on their journeys, their continued journeys. We know it's not easy out there. You know, we've got young people at a national level who are bringing on conversations and driving for change. And yet we have warriors amongst ourselves, right? We have warriors who are going to take on those same challenges. So each one of them is a winner. Each one of them really is a special and unique person, and it's because of all of you in the room, so thank you for that. So with that, I'm going to ask our board chair, my wonderful board chair, Mr. Gregory Hatcher, to come up, and he will say a few words, and then we'll make the announcement.
Good evening. Whoa, that's really loud. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here this evening. I want to begin by first saying, that how just incredibly proud I am of every one of the youth who spoke to us this evening. I was a judge 4 years ago now, 4 years ago, and what an incredible opportunity that was for me to hear from youth like you all, and to see where those youth are today is just incredibly, incredibly encouraging. Great futures certainly start here, right? And I've been tweeting all night. That's why folks see me on my phone. I'm huge on Twitter. I try to be, I guess. I probably don't have as many followers as Cameron, but I'm probably getting there. But great futures truly start here when kids walk through those doors of our clubs across the state. As Connie said, Greg Hatcher, I lead our Boys and Girls Club of Colorado and the Colorado Alliance, and have done so for the last going on 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. And it's such an honor that I have to work with Connie and her team to make what's possible across Colorado. And so I want to give a second thanks to Connie and to Becca. Where's Becca? For your incredible work with putting this evening together, but also all of the work that you do day in and day out to support clubs across Colorado through the funding and advocacy work that we do as an organization. So thank you. It has been also said, thanks many times, but I want to say it from my chair, that we could not do what we do without staff in all of our clubs across the state. So thank you for the job that you do and the very high-paid job that you have in supporting our clubs and our youth most of all. Thank you very much. And then I just want to thank our families for the families who are present here today, who help to make sure that these youth get to where they are today. These are parents, guardians, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins even, maybe. Thank you for all that you have done and giving us your youth to help to develop them into the leaders that they are today. So thank you to our families. And last but not least, I just wanted to thank and recognize my fellow board members. I know Christina's here. I didn't see anyone else sneak in. Adam was here, Rothberg. So thank you to our board of directors in Colorado as well. So I just wanted to end, and I think Connie has an envelope for me soon. I just wanted to end and just say that I think some of the work that our clubs do, I've had an opportunity to visit our clubs, most recently at the Buckley Air Force Base, where I've seen and I see some of the incredible work that our clubs do for our kids on all things in leadership development. When I walked into Buckley, I was actually greeted by, first security at the gate, which was quite the process to get in. My grandfather was in the Air Force. We used to get on all the time. Now that is not the case. But greeted in our club by kids, right, and by the youth who walked us through the club, gave us a tour of the incredible work that they're doing, the coding that is going on in our clubs every single day, the leadership development work that students have talked about through the Keystone work, but also I think just the family, right? The family feel that is our clubs, and that so many of our youth and leaders and staff get to experience each and every day. It's really incredible, and so thank you. All right. I think now I have the opportunity to read off the winners, which the judges had a really tough job. I wish I could read off every one of these names, but now I get to be the Oscar guy here. Okay, thank you. That's the right one. I know. Is this the right one?
That's the right one.
All right. So for the traditional clubs, right? Correct? Excuse me. 2018 Military Youth of the Year. Before I give this one, I thought this was coming second. Before I give this one, I just wanted to give a special thanks and love for our military men and women. Some who are present here today, thank you for your service. we would not be sitting here today and able to do what we do without you all and your teams of folks who are out. And for the youth who are in our clubs, in the military clubs, we know that you all go through a ton with your families who are out serving our country, who are stateside serving our country. There's a lot that you all go through, have to move a lot. My mom was a military brat, and she moved a ton, and her siblings moved a ton, and we know what you all go through. I'm actually going to be in Wichita in a couple days, where I'll be visiting my brother-in-law who's serving in the Army. That's the only reason you go to Wichita, by the way, but nonetheless. So, 2018 Military Youth of the Year, representing, drum roll please, Buckley Air Force Base, Destiny Meecomber. Come on up. All right. Next one. Drum roll, please. Our 2018 Youth of the Year for our traditional clubs. Representing, all right, get ready, y'all. Representing the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Denver, Malachi Haynes. I'll just end by saying thank you and congratulations to our two winners, but to all of our youth. Again, wish I could have read all of your names off. Connie didn't give me that envelope. I guess I could have, but thank you to all of our youth and congratulations to each and every one of you. You baby.
So that's it. I mean, that's the evening. There is no ask. You know, how many times do you come to an event and somebody asks you for money at the end? So we'll take it, though. If you know, Becca's over there. Becca, raise your hand. If anyone would like to give a check to Becca on the way out, we will take it, and we will put it towards great use to support our youth. But what we will leave you with is the challenge to be present in the community. Be supportive not only of these young people, but of other young people in the community. There are lots of challenges out there, and we often talk about young people needing a healthy youth-adult relationship, right? We know what the data says about that making a difference in their lives. And what I would say is actually that we all need that, right? We all need to be connected and to see each other as humans, and to see each other as assets in the community, and not find divisiveness, but to find a way to come together. And so I challenge you to find the love and humanity, and to make sure you support each other, and most importantly, you support young people in Colorado. So with that, excuse me? Oh yes, I want to recognize a couple of our legislators here tonight who actually are responsible for lots of wonderful things in our community. Senator Kafalas from Fort Collins, and Senator Exum from Pikes Peak region. So could we recognize you? Thank you. Thank you for what you do in the community. They certainly Both have been major advocates for young people and carrying on a very good fight at the Capitol. So hopefully you enjoyed this evening. Great. So with that, I just want to say thank you again. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your evening. Thank you for sharing your lives with us and with our young people. So have a wonderful evening. Drive safe.